Yeah.
Namaste everyone. My name is Priyamvada and we are here today with Guru Pashupati. Most of you already know him, but for those who don't, Guru Pashupati is Ashwin Chekawa and he is been into yoga since the past 20 years. He has not only cured himself of 15 diseases, but he's also a yogapreneur who has helped people transform their lives with yoga. So, today we are going to talk about something which has intrigued me since I got into yoga, and even before that. What is real yoga? What are the real yogis? Do real yogis even exist in the 21st century or no? But before that, Ashwin and Guru Pashupatinath will talk about his Gurukul, and it's open to everyone. So, he'll talk about the course that is going to start in some time. Hi, Ashwin.
Hi. Hi. Thank you, Priyamvada, and welcome to everybody who's here and who's going to watch the recording. Um, I cured myself of 15 diseases. That's true, and I also realized that there's one thing that helps everybody. Just one thing: give up self pity. If you do that, if you manage to do that, then you build something called resilience. And what is resilience? The Japanese have a proverb: fall 7 times, get up 8 times. You see? And that's how we achieve anything in life. This is, you don't give up when you fail the first time. You try again and you try again, you try again and you try again. That's called resilience. So I decided that this is what cured me. Resilience is what cured me. And I have made a school to teach only resilience. The whole school is a 1 year course. It's going to be warrior yoga. Of course, we'll use principles of yoga, which is basically body alignment, understanding the five elements, working with the the three doshas, which are called vata, pitta, kapha. These are very three interesting uh, energies inside the body. Vata is something which transports stuff in your body. It just transports stuff. It creates pressure, moves things in your body. Okay, so there's another model of understanding the body other than the Western anatomical model. We have this model also, and it really works. The seat of vata is in the hips. Then there's pitta, which is between the navel and the sternum, and this is another very interesting thing. It's heat, and it's also cooling. So sorry, don't know what's wrong with my throat today. Yeah, so it's temperature regulation, and this hot liquid, it is felt as a liquid in the body. This goes around, and if it's excess at any point, it creates inflammation, and if it's flowing well, it brings life. And so how to control these energies, and kapha is located in the lungs and the heart, and this is something which gives strength to your body, and this is what we use. So I train with some warrior tools. Could you just pass that, please? Yeah, thank you. So this is one of the most ancient warrior tools. It's come from a tree. It's a branch of a tree which we turned into this shape. This bottle shape, what happens is that its weight is more on the side and it's less on this side. So you're not holding it at its center of gravity. So even though this is just like 3 kgs or 4 kgs or something like that, it is when effectively when you use it, it's like lifting 15 kgs, 20 kgs over and over and over again. And this creates a kind of connection with the nature. The tree itself has kapha. That's why it's so strong and solid. That kapha, or some trees have got pitta, some trees have got vata. So we use the right kind of wood. I give the right kind of wood to my students. And by swinging it all around, we are creating an electrical energy flow inside the body in what are called nadis. And you know what? One of my amazing teachers, he found nadis. They're called optical fibers, right? We've been talking about the optical fibers where it's an information highway. It moves through all the yogic texts are speaking about nadis, but he found it. It was in the gap junctions of every cell, And this is what gets destroyed by a chemical called glyphosate. I'll not go into that right now. But I'm also teaching people how to protect themselves from all the toxins in their environment. So, all in all, I started the school 1 year ago. We trained 200 people, and I was amazed at the transformation wherever even conventional medical wisdom has failed, people popping pills, all of them were able to achieve a transformation of health, and not only that, turn into warriors. Start developing the warrior body. You keep lifting this piece of wood, you'll start getting muscles, man. You like I've put on about, I used to be 58 kgs, and now I'm what, 75 kgs, all muscle, no fat. So you start building your body, and I got some of my hair back. I was going completely bald and a whole lot of
And mind.
transformations happened. Yeah, so that's basically what we're doing. I thought I'll explain it properly, and this is real yoga, if you ask me,
Yes.
because this is what we're doing. Because I think that real yoga should make a real transformation that we can measure. And so, if anybody's interested, you can get in
We can
touch
link
with
it
me.
up in
Yeah,
the
yeah,
video.
we'll link it up. We'll link it up at the video below. So there'll be a link below. Don't worry. And so you can always get in touch and learn this. So yeah, thanks for letting me explain that, Premada. Let's get on with today's subject.
Okay. So, our first question is, we are talking about real yoga for the real and real aspiring yogis, and not only people who just use, parts and pieces of yoga. So then, the question is that what is real yoga, and a few insights on the types of yoga. Is there
Hmm.
a lot of types of yoga? Is there just one yoga, and people are calling it different yogas? So
Hmm.
that.
Okay, so we'll have to get into basics of the basics to understand this. Okay, bear with me, but it's interesting. Um, what terms what yoga is the control of the sixth element. There are five elements which everybody knows about. They've heard about it, and these are various aspects of what that invisible force, that alakshana niranjana force. Alakshana means without any attributes. Niranjana means completely without any kind of spot mark, nothing to identify it. There's a force like that. Yeah, we call it Shiva, and
Okay.
that's the basic force, and it's mysterious. You cannot know it by itself. Now many religions have called this God. Many religions have called it various names, whatever. Even if you look at the description of Allah in the Quran, it's pretty much has no attributes of form. And so is the God of the Bible, having no attributes and form. And if you go to Africa and look at their spirituality, they also have various descriptions of a formless God. So that's something in yoga we call Shiva. Now there are five aspects of that Shiva, and those are the five uh, bhutas, the five
Okay.
spirits, the five great spirits. Okay, the five great spirits from which all material stuff comes. So when those five great spirits meet the five great shaktis, the five great energies, then the different, uh, you know, um, molecules out of which the whole of this reality is created, and all of the energy from which this reality is created, they come forth. Okay, so this happens once every kalpa, and it just dissolves. The whole universe comes into being and dissolves, comes into being and dissolves. They say one day of Brahma is equal to one kalpa. And for us it's nothing. We might be in Brahma's breakfast right now. uh, you know and we just like flashes, like we just come and go like this. But our awareness is eternal, and our awareness is linked to Shiva himself. Our awareness is something that again has no form. Deep in our core there's an awareness, and we can be various things at any given moment. At some moment I could be a father, at some moment I could be a businessman, at some moment I could be a yogi, I could be different identities, but none of that is really who you are. All
Okay.
of us at the core, at the base, are pure awareness. and that is Shiva again. We don't know who, we are just a microcosm, but we're part of the macrocosm. So this formless is even within us, and that's really who we are. What never changes is our awareness. It's always there, whether we are sleeping, dreaming, whatever. We've always got some awareness. It has nothing to do with the senses.
Okay.
So these bhutas also create our senses. They also create what we can sense with those senses. Everything is being created by the bhutas, but the sixth bhuta is called chitta, and it is upon, if without chitta you can't experience any of these other bhutas. Like, you've got sky, you've got earth, you've got fire, you've got wind, you've got water. You can't experience any of these without having the sixth element called chitta, which basically is a 3D kind of expansive screen that can contain anything. And that's what we call the screen of our mind, the conscious mind. So, having control over the conscious mind is yoga. That's it. That's what the sage Patanjali said. Okay. Chitta vritti. So, vritti would be like to stop it from turning. If you're able to
Okay.
stabilize it, then you're a yogi. That's basically what it is. It's a discipline. So, yoga is basically a discipline. And he says that now I will explain discipline of yoga. And that's how the Yoga Sutra starts. And then he explains 4 chapters of yogic discipline to maintain that mind in a particular way. So if you're getting upset about something, that means you're not a yogi. It leads to roga. If you get upset about things, it leads to disease, because then if the chitta is not stable, then the expression of the elements in our experience goes up and down. And these three humors called vata, pitta, kapha, which are inside us, the doshas, are created from these elements. Vata is created from space and wind. Pitta is created from fire and water. Kapha is created from earth and water.
Correct.
So the creation of our body itself, we create our body every moment right now. I'm talking to you, my mind, my chitta, depending on its stability, it creates a version of me. I'm right now a version of me. You're right now a version of yourself. Everybody watching, you're all a version of yourselves right now. You're not going to be this version maybe in the evening if your chitta fluctuates. But if you keep your chitta constant, you can project a constant version of yourself. Then you don't age. Your body remains as it is. Now, any methods to do this is yoga. So you can have different methods of yoga, but yoga is only one. Yoga means the achievement, the worthiness that, or the, I'm not getting the English word for yoga, but to be yogya. Yogya can be worthy,
Qualified. Qual-
qualified. Yes, yes, maybe qualified. Yeah, perfect. So
Worthy of
the
something.
qualification or the um, the status, isn't it? So having a status of keeping your chitta stable, that turns you into yogi. And we cannot do it without involving the body. It's only through
Right.
the body that we can control the mind, because the chitta itself is formed out of the bhutas. And what happens is it becomes the sixth bhuta.
Okay.
So each bhuta gives rise to each other, like there's mother bhutas, daughter bhutas. So there's like father sky and mother earth. Father sky gives rise to wind, okay, and then mother earth gives rise to water, and then water again gives rise to fire, and the wind gives rise to consciousness or chitta.
Okay.
So then you have one born from the other, born from the other, so they're coming out of the bhutas. So if I want good consciousness, I have to be aware about the space element, the sky element, and the wind element, and then only I can produce a good chitta. So I need to control the wind, which is why breathing is so important in yoga. If you control the breath, you control the mind, because the mind comes out of the breath.
Okay.
And if you want to control the breath, you have to control the space, which means you have to control your environment. Otherwise, your breath will be out of control. So the environment involves everybody in the environment and everything in the environment. If it's not if it's not stable, then your breath will not be stable. If you're living in a place where there's constant stress all the time, your breath cannot be stable. That is why the yogis used to go to the mountains, where they don't have to think about their wife, they don't have to think about their husbands, they don't have to think about their children. They can sit there and control their breath. When they control the breath, they control their mind. Okay, what about earth? The earth element is our connection to uh, our physical body itself, because our physical body is largely made of water and earth. Both of them are elements which we used to think that we get from our food. By eating other living beings, we are getting our elements. But we can directly get them also from the earth, like the plants. So, what we do is a rooting exercise. We used to, when I was living in the mountains with Baba, we never ate. So, what we do is dig the earth, put the foot inside, close the earth, water ourselves like a plant, and then take sunlight and breath. And we used to create mind, and the body would get created by itself. So we have this capability. We have all these networks inside us, and science is yet to discover it. Yes, they have discovered nadis. Nadis are optic fiber network. Inside the earth, there's a big optic fiber network called the mycelial network. So when you connect yourself to the mycelial network and you can stay there for a few hours, just taking in sunlight and breathing in air, you start to create your body, and you don't need anything. You don't need any food. All right. So that's how we live in the snow. We dig the snow up. We can even melt the snow with uh, the pitta. So one amazing quality about the pitta is that you can take it outside your body, and you can
Okay.
put it into the air outside your body. Your aura, your energy outside the body can take the pitta. And when that happens, pitta is called tumo by the Tibetans. And by taking the pitta out of the body, we start creating high temperature around the body, and it melts the snow. It melts the snow so much that we can see the ground, the bare ground. We dig into the bare ground, we put our feet inside and cover it up and just stand there for a few hours. We're done with our food for the day. We don't need anything else. And that's how you make the immortal body. That's why yogis go to the mountains, because you can be far away from all this. You come back here into this atmosphere, you have to train your mind to ignore all the disturbances in the environment. Otherwise, your breath will go up and down. And the
Correct.
moment your breath goes up and down, your mind goes up and down. Have you noticed?
Yes.
Try it. Okay? Try it. Breathe fast, like, like, and pretty soon you'll start feeling fear. Just do this for a few,
Yeah.
and then you start feeling fear right away. And then start breathing like an ocean. What we call ujjayi breathing. All you have to do is breathe like an ocean. For You do this ocean breath for maybe
I
15
actually feel
minutes.
like I'm on a beach. I actually got that hit in the
Yeah,
first breath. Maybe
yeah,
it's that circle that I'm with you, because usually ऐसा नहीं होता. In the first breath I don't get it, but right now I got that hit. Like one,
yeah.
for that 1 second I
Yeah, yeah, that
pull my.
that is that is energy, right? You're speaking to me, so we're all connected. I
Yeah.
was thinking of the energy of the mountains when I was with Baba. So obviously energy comes back. Boom. You just have to remember something and the energy comes back. Have you noticed? You remember your first breakup and that energy comes back and you feel like shit again. You know?
Yeah, true, true.
So when you start remembering good things in your life, obviously that's what I'm talking. That's the sky element. That's your environment. So the environment is not just physical. There's another environment of your imagination. So both these environments we need to control. Then we can control our breath. That's why yama and niyama first. Control the environment. Then
Correct.
control your breath, pranayama. Once you control your breath, then we start with, I mean, of course, there's asana, there's alignment. Asana is called alignment. Okay, guys, asana is not postures, asana is alignment. If you align your body in the way that was naturally meant to be aligned, it works. Obviously, right? Just obviously. So if I take this bottle and I align it in a different way, it's not going to function as a bottle. It's going to
Correct.
spill everything and leak everything because it's not aligned in the right way. It cannot be used as a bottle. But when I align it the right way, now it's very useful as a bottle. I can fill it with water. It's life force for me. Water is life. And I can carry it around, this bottle of life, with me wherever I go. But if I misalign it and I keep it like this, so how many people sit like, neck craned forward and then, nothing in alignment? What's the yogic alignment? If you're standing, your weight has to be equally distributed on both feet. Like, and then there's a foot arch, and your toes have to form arches too. Okay, so the foot is an arch itself, and the toes also should not be flat on the floor. They should form arches, and the tips of the toes should touch. And the weight should be equal on the ball of the foot and the heel, and the outer edge of the foot. There shouldn't be weight on the inner edge of the foot. And then you pull your kneecap up. Okay, and the moment you do that, your the back of the knee stretches, the quads get engaged, and your hip comes right on top of your ankles, or your knees come on top of your ankles, the back of your knees come on top of your ankle, your hip comes over your ankle, and then you check for rotation, whether you're rotated or not. You pull yourself back in alignment and check your pelvic tilt, is it tilted or not. Most people have lordosis, women
Yeah.
especially, so remove that hyperlordosis and hypolordosis also. If you got hypolordosis, you'll keep getting upper back pain. So adjust the lordosis correctly. The moment you do that, your shoulders, see if they swung like this, pull them back in one line, and then place them over your hips in the same plane. If somebody drew a line, it should pass through your ankle, your knee, your hip, your shoulder, and then also your ear. Pull your neck back, put your chin down, level. And then the final alignment is to put the tongue on the upper palate, not just the tip, the whole tongue on your upper palate. This is yogic alignment. This is the first asana. It's called Parvatasana. Okay. So when we stand like this, like a mountain, we have to practice standing like a mountain. There are only 12 or 15 asanas, that's it. And each of them is an alignment. Once you have the alignment, what happens in the alignment is that your breath flows properly. And when your breath flows properly, that's called pranayama. Immediately, the chitta will go through stages, which is called pratyahara. Immediately, it will withdraw from all distractions and start concentrating. Then there is dharana, where awareness starts to flow out into the world in a very steady state. Cannot be disturbed at all. You cannot disturb such a being. And then there's dhyana. Dhyana is where you bring your intention into the awareness and you say, let this be like this. And it will be like that. Okay. And finally, there is samadhi, right? And samadhi is where you are one with everything. And these powers that come are described in the Vibhuti Pada. What are the powers that come from yoga? It's described in great detail. So, you can think of an elephant and you will have the strength of an elephant. I did this and I could lift my car. I could lift it and I got scared that I'll spoil the car. So I didn't want to drop it back on the floor. So I put it back slowly on the floor. So things like this, you can do whatever. You think of a cloud, you can start to float. You can do whatever you want. But you need to kind of train yourself under a guru. You can't do this on your own, really. You need to train yourself under a guru. And surely you can't do a 200-hour TTC and call yourself a yogi. Like, it's
Correct.
not possible. It's not happening, guys. So now you know what yoga is. Now you know what real yoga is. So are there yogis in the 21st century? Yes, there are. Of course there are. And Do they speak English? Yeah, I'm speaking English. You know.
Do they
Yeah.
use the internet? Yes, they do use the internet also.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. And so I opened this warrior school because I want people to slowly. I always start them off with you can't you got to first get control over your imagination, and it's a slow process. It takes a year at least, where you focus and you reach that stage where you at least when you reach the stage of dhyana, then you start to experience different kinds of powers within you. But if you don't have a guru, then you start becoming very directionless. Guru's job is to slap you and put you back on the path all the time. And it's very important, otherwise we become so full of ourselves. As we get power, and then we say, whoa, what can I do? And then you don't realize that you just got to relax, just chill out. You don't have to use every power every time just because you have it, right? Just because the banana peel is there, you don't have to slip on it. you know it's there. You don't go and slip on it unless you want to. And then you start to live with happiness and confidence, and you don't have fear of the hospital, and you don't have fear of everyone has fear of the hospital, isn't it? Nobody has any clue about health. What should I eat? Nobody knows. They're not clear about it. So once in a while it's okay, right? And then the once in a while thing becomes every day in
Yeah.
no time. And people smoking, drinking, you're destroying yourselves. You don't know what a complicated piece of machinery this body is. You can't treat it however you want. It'll get destroyed. It can be very strong like a mountain. It can also be very vulnerable if you don't give it what it needs. So we have to take care of ourselves. We have to tend to ourselves. And that tending is yoga. You sit and tend to yourself. When you tend to yourself, that's when you know yourself. Then comes the next step, to know another person. You finally come to know another person, and that's the beginning of tantra. Till then, it's all yoga. But the moment you
Exactly.
start understanding another person, uh, you start to exchange energy, and then suddenly there is a Shiva Shakti exchange, where you can create stuff with another person. It needn't have to be a man and a woman either, and it need not be sexual either, right? Out of the 64 tantras, only 8 are sexual. So what percentage is that? One eighth.
Yeah,
One eighth.
money.
One eighth of tantra is sexual, but in the West now it is only sexual, and they don't even know what they're doing. They don't know the mantras.
Even
They
in
can't
India,
even.
Tantra is equal to sex. As far as I
Yeah.
have heard, people are like Tantra is sex.
No, the word
That's
tantra
sexual.
means the word tantra means engineering. That's why engineering colleges are called tantrika vidyalayas. Okay. So tantra means engineering. So we get together with another person and we create a new reality, and that's all you need. Because really, even reality is virtual reality. Nothing is written in stone. It's just energy. But it's easy to say that, but then to experience that, you need to know yourself and you need to know another person very intimately. If you're able to know, if there are two people, you can create tantra. Different kinds of engineering of reality can happen, and this is engineering of reality. It's not engineering a bridge or engineering a machine, and that can be done. And so there are lots of things to understand as we
Both
go.
people have to know their selves first, or just
Both
one
people have to
person.
be yogis.
Both people have to be yogis.
Then only they can practice tantra. Till then they can't. Okay, so that's the next step for a yogi, because what you'll do all alone, you'll get bored, right? What will you do? You become immortal,
Yeah.
and what you going to do next? Yeah. That's why my teacher shooed me away from the Himalayas. He said, "Good, good, you learned enough. Now get lost."
Mm.
And he said, "Come back here and do what you have to do." I thought my job was to teach yoga, and I realized my job here is to undergo all the sufferings that people undergo, and come out of it. So from health problems to financial problems to relationship problems, Every problem, name it, legal problems, that problem, this problem, everybody ostracizing me, and all sorts of things I had to undergo. And I used yoga to come out of it. I used yoga to come out of it. I used yoga to come out of it. And I kept coming out of it. And then in that, I realized how to take people out because I had no idea how to take people out, where to start teaching yoga. I don't know. I had no idea when I came. So then I started putting it down as a methodology that people can actually understand because right now nobody knows Sanskrit. Even if they read the sutras and they read the tantras and they read the tantras are not even available. We got one Rudra Amala tantra and half of it. That's it. We don't have any of the 64 tantras. We just have mentions of them within the Rudra Yamala. And then, you know, we, and then there are some tantra bits and pieces, the Vamakeshwara and that and this. There are few bits and pieces available. But my guru has the 64 tantras with him. And he's also got the 18 Mahapuranas, the 108 Upanishads, and the four Vedas. And all the knowledge contained in this is the knowledge of reality. It's the knowledge of really being something beyond our body and our biology as apes. We can grow beyond that and we can explore the universe. And the universe is a vast place. There is so much to do. If you learn astral projection, you can take a partner and leave your bodies and go to a place anywhere in the universe. You could visit Lord Vishnu if you wanted to. You could go wherever you wanted. That's total freedom. But people are not ready for that because they can't forget their mother-in-law, right? So we need to we need to understand that we didn't come here to do anything less than magnificent. Everything we do is magnificent, and it has to be, all right. And we just get caught in a very low vibration, and we need to come out of those vibrations to be free, to be yogis, really. And please don't try anything without a guru. It only leads to ego, nothing else. Nothing else. If you don't have a guru to slap you, you're only going to grow your ego. That's about it. If you're scared to make contact with your guru, then it shows that you have an ego. Because guru will be constantly slapping you. This is what happens with gurus. They constantly slap you. And now being a guru myself, this is my job. I have to wake up in the morning and slap everyone constantly. It's not that I don't enjoy it. I love my job. I'm not complaining. But I only am this way because I've learned how to control my ego because my guru slaps me if my ego grows out of bounds. You know, as we gain power, we also want to understand we want to be the ultimate power. When there's no end to power mongering, you know. If you
Yeah.
go after power, then there's no end to it. And yoga is power. Yoga is pure power. It's real power. But what should that power be used for? If you don't have a proper person to guide you, then you end up with Kundalini psychosis
Oh God.
and
So
some
many
other
things.
shit like that. Yeah.
So, Ashwin, I actually, before moving on to the next question, I had a sub question about
Hmm.
what you spoke when you said that you should control your thoughts and emotions. But aren't negative emotions also like normal, or it should not arise? For example, anger, fear.
Actually, you
Are you
misheard. I did not use the word emotion because emotions don't exist. Emotions
okay?
are a fictional creation of ourselves with words. When we say, for example, anger, what is anger? It's a feeling inside the body. And when you're angry, your heart beats faster. You feel pressure in the chest. You feel a contraction in the stomach, maybe. And then
Yes.
you feel a contraction in the throat and the jaw. That's anger. It's just getting out of alignment. That's it. Put yourself back in alignment, anger is gone. Because anger doesn't exist. Sadness doesn't exist. Sadness is a lack of electrolyte in the body. So you feel tired, you don't have energy, you can't get up. Because you don't have electrolyte in the body. Just take some Himalayan pink salt, put it in water, drink it. Your sadness will be gone.
Okay.
Okay, so we have to understand emotions are just feelings in the body that we've given fancy names to, and then they'll come along some teachers who say, watch your emotions, they are like clouds, they'll go away. No, Until you improve your body, your emotions will not go away. They're very persistent, isn't it?
Yeah, yeah. I have experienced this because I went to Vipassana and it did not help as much as yoga did, because I still thought when I'm observing these things, they kind of magnify. But when you do other practices to just, clear that energy off, like for
Hmm.
example, when I tried your class, I just felt like that some cloud around me has just disappeared. It
Hmm.
felt so energetic. But at the same time, if I go and sit for Vipassana when I'm feeling low, I will feel or zyada low.
See,
So this I have
all these
experienced.
meditations where you sit and go inside yourself, they only build your ego, nothing else. So, of course, people get upset when I say that, but it's true. What can I do?
Okay,
Okay,
so
so
we should not let all these emotions grip us. We should immediately, when we feel that this is happening, we should, recenter ourselves or realign
yeah,
ourselves.
isn't it like a physical discomfort? Every negative emotion is a physical discomfort. Why don't we just readjust that physical discomfort and we're out of it? We can be physically comfortable all the time, you know. So emotions are a creation of words. They don't exist. It's not real. There is nothing called emotions. It's
Okay.
not a reality. It's just imagination.
So our next question is it true that only certain people are qualified to learn yoga?
No. Every human body is capable of being a yogi. Every human being is capable of being a yogi. So it's not at all realized. So yoga doesn't come under this caste system or doesn't discriminate by gender or anything like that. And we don't tell people don't go to the temple when you have periods. We don't have these problems. Okay. So we say the Divine Mother herself has periods, so you also have periods, so you can go and visit her in the temple, no problem, you know. But people have these, I don't know, crazy rules when it comes to religion. Remember, Hinduism is only one-sixth yoga. It's one-sixth Sankhya, it's one-sixth Nyaya, it's one-sixth Vaisheshika, one-sixth Vedanta, and one-sixth Mimamsa. And in mixing all of these things together, we have got Hinduism, the Shad Darshanas. So everything that you hear about, like the caste system, is not there in yoga. It's a part of Mimamsa. It is not from yoga. So we don't follow that at all. So there's no discrimination by caste, religion, creed, gender, physical ability, mental ability. Anybody can be a yogi.
Okay. This reminds me of a very strange and unrelated thing, not related to our life.
Hmm.
I was also told that women cannot go into Shamshan, like the crematorium cemetery.
Hmm.
They cannot
Hmm.
go there because if they go there, then it'll affect their health very badly because women have long hair. It didn't really make sense to me.
You know
So I
that's the
just asked you, what do you think? What if men have long hair and they go to that place, Shamshan Ghat?
if you drink water during Tej as a woman and you don't fast, you'll be born as a housefly. So I just call all these houseflies and ask them why you drank water. Why? We can go on about this crap, you know. And people have been transmitting it as if that is Veda. That is not Veda. You
Yeah.
know, Veda is not full of all this crap. But nobody's read the Vedas, okay? Everyone who talks about this is part of the Vedas, they haven't read the Vedas. They don't know what's in it. I see other religion people also talking about Vedas. I'm like, everyone calm down. Have you read it? No, no, not really. Then how are you speaking with so much confidence? It's crazy.
So our next question is, what exactly is cultural appropriation and how do we avoid it in
Yeah.
context to yoga?
So what has happened with yoga is definitely cultural appropriation. So what it means is to go to another culture, expose yourself to it, and understand it in the context of your own culture without saying I have to come with an empty cup. And there are people who do that though. I have students from the West who have dropped their cup, emptied the cup and come and they're learning and it's good. Say I don't know anything about this culture and then you can go and learn, right? And that's how I learned Japanese martial arts because I went there with an empty cup and I started learning their culture. It's different. I started learning Chinese martial arts. I went with an empty cup and I learned their stuff is different. Thai martial arts different, Filipino martial arts different, and then Sri Lankan martial arts different, African martial arts different. So that's how I got exposed to many cultures, and I realized if I start behaving like them and I start wearing their clothes and I start using their slang and I start uh, speaking like them, it's not correct. I'm not that. I'm not being authentic if I'm that. That's not my culture. So why I saw a guy clumping around in Mysore wearing padukas, white guy, and I was like, what is wrong with you, man? Why can't you wear shoes like everyone else, right? And so he said, but I'm a yogi now. I'm like, no, you're a cartoon now. Okay, stop doing these things. You know. Anyway, I'm not hurt or uh, bothered or even affected by this in the least. If you want to do it, do it. You're just running. You're making a fool of yourself when you go and try to namaste each other. You're making an idiot out of yourself.
Namaste. It's not namaste, it's namaste now.
Whatever it is, but it's making fun of us, man. Do you know what it even means? This is the divine in me wishes the divine. No, it's not that. It says namahate, which means I worship you. I honor you. That's it. Te is you. Namaha is to revere. I revere you. That's about it. Reverence to you. My reverence to you. That's all it is. There's no divine in me wishes the divine in you. Where did all this come from? I'm looking at this like, I'm Indian and I know this. And somebody's like, you don't know what it means. Let me explain it to you. And somebody's telling me how Sanskrit doesn't have the A sound. Like it's not Rama, it's Ram. Someone's teaching me. I'm like, then why do we have this thing, which we put there after the Ma? If we put that's Ram. If you remove it, it's Rama. Like nobody told me about this. Yeah, there's a lot of people haven't told you about, you know. So there's a lot, and then we don't have to bother about it really. Yeah, come on. It's like flea bites. Just scratch it
Uh,
and throw it away.
but yeah, Ashwin, what I meant to ask from this question is that as Indians, are we looking at yoga through a Western lens? And if we are doing so, then how do we avoid it? Like, what is the Western lens and what is actual, like, when we look at yoga, the way it's supposed to be looked at?
I would advise everybody to read Patanjali's Yoga Sutra properly and then don't lie that you understood it. If you didn't understand it, ask me. I'll tell you. Okay? Or ask any guru who knows, who's qualified. I'm not the only intelligent person in the whole of India. There are a lot of people who know. So go find a guru to teach you. And you should really start from everything I've explained to you has been discussed in the Patanjali Yoga Sutras. Did you know that? Everything we talked about now, nothing new here. So it's just 196 aphorisms, and everything is contained in that, what you need to learn about yoga. So start there. It's like the easiest thing. It's a short book. It's not the Vedas. The Vedas are 28,000 verses, 27,000 verses. Oh my God. And then, just pick any book, like pick the epics, Mahabharata, Ramayana. It's all running 18,000 verses. And that's the abridged version, and there are many other versions with more. And then you start reading the Upanishads and don't even talk about the Puranas, because every Purana can go from, I don't know, 5,000 to 28,000 verses. Can depends on the Mahapurana. So don't have to read all that. You just start with Patanjali Yoga Sutra. It's just 196. Start with 196 sutras. Okay, it's called a sutra because it's like little pearl strung on a string. You take the first one and meditate upon what it means. Atha Yoga Anushasana. That means there's some discipline involved here. Start with being disciplined, like go to bed at 9 o'clock and put your devices away by 7:30. You already started yoga. and then live the life. So that's the only way to learn it. You cannot learn it from the internet and that and this. You need a living guru to expound it to you and make it relevant to your life and give you the specific lessons that you need at that point. Whatever you're lacking is what the guru is going to focus on. I'm going to make you learn that thing. And that's really how it's done. That's how it's been done for centuries. You can't change this process. You can't create a 500-hour TTC. It's going to happen. So just calm down, everybody who's done that stuff. What you've done is fallen prey to a very commercial organization who's sold you a status without you deserving it. And now you know that you don't deserve it deep down inside. But then you go around trying to protect that and keep yourself from being found out. And that's what's happening. To all the Indians who are learning, who are doing 500-hour TTCs, like, calm down, guys. This is your gift. You don't need to do a 500-hour TTC. It's free for you, you know.
Right.
So sit and learn it. Understand what it means. Think about it. Your language is Sanskrit. Every language in India is based in Sanskrit except Tamil. And there are a lot of Tamil words which are into Sanskrit and Sanskrit words into Tamil as well. So just need to learn Tamil and Sanskrit. If you know Tamil, there are enough yoga textbooks on Tamil. But sorry, it's 3,000 verses if you want to read Tirumantiram. So instead of Tirumantiram, you should start with Patanjali Yoga Sutra because he really came and simplified it. Learn his mantra, pray to him, and you will get your blessings. These energies are everywhere. For anybody who comes sincerely and prays to Lord Patanjali and says, please show me the meaning of your aphorisms. Please guide me to a teacher who can help me with this. He will guide you. If you want to learn, if you have the humility, that's where you go. You don't go to a website and pay, I don't know, a lot of dollars. Like, calm down. It's a spiritual connection. You have to start there.
Okay. So, Ashwin, what is the difference between a yoga practitioner, a yoga therapist,
Mm,
and a yogi?
mm.
Like, how do you spot people who are just yoga teachers and yoga therapists and
The
like,
practitioner is called a sadhaka. Okay, so they just started on the path and they are trying to achieve the dhana, the sadhana. It is a spiritual wealth, sadhana. Okay, so they are involved in sadhana and they are just started on the path, and of course they have a lot of problems, and they keep getting slapped. That's the yoga practitioner. A yoga therapist is a yoga siddha. So he is somebody who has done the sadhana and he has achieved the siddhis. And what he can do is use his siddhis and anybody can get healed, which is what I do. I just heal people who cannot be healed by conventional medicine with just lifestyle changes and practicing warrior yoga, they get healed. Okay. So that's a yoga therapist. And then a yogi himself is is of course beyond a siddha. So you could either call him a mahasiddha or you could just call him a yogi, and that status is reserved for very few people. Yeah, they're constantly able to understand reality is just a projection, and that the only real thing is their own awareness, and they have to be very careful about their awareness. They know about the bhutas, and that's all they are concerned with. Their senses are always into the bhutas, what's going on. And such a person may live in the world as a normal person and you won't even know. Like Kabir Sahib was a yogi. He used to create miracles. Something and all used to happen. And in the presence of a real yogi, there'll be a lot of miracles happening. Every day something will happen. And you will be like, how could this be possible? And then it happens. So that's the yogi is a proof that human beings have superhuman powers. Yogis are proof they're superhuman beings. They're humans who became superhuman. Yeah.
Okay.
So
I
that's the
think
difference. But I don't know. I don't know if your thing was like these courses which are offered by various institutions in yoga therapy and I don't know
the
yoga.
question was a general one, but yes, also, clarifying the courses and everything.
Yeah.
I mean,
So
you
listen,
clarified
I didn't
when you
learn
talk about
anything in any course. I went to school for like 20 years. I went to college and school, and I didn't learn anything of practical value
it. Yeah.
except for language, which is good. I learned English, and that's about it. I didn't even learn proper Kannada or Hindi. I only learned English because I went to such schools. And then when you go to another institution where there's not a living guru, there's not one living guru, right? Inside an institution,
Yeah.
and they love to call themselves guru this and guru that, but they're not. So the guru has to be a yogi. Otherwise, what you're learning is not yoga. Learning everything else other than yoga. So you're picking up on their arrogance, you're picking up on their insecurities, you're picking up on their, inadequacies, and you're considering this as an achievement when you go to institutions. You cannot learn yoga in an institution. It's not possible. Yoga cannot be institutionalized.
True.
That's about it. Like there is a Gurukulam. You go and be part of Gurukulam, then you can learn from the Guru, which is uh, Kula means the universe of the Guru. You have to enter into the universe of the Guru and you learn. The Western mind has a huge problem with this because they've been told that their individuality somehow matters. It doesn't. And the Eastern mind, we have magnificent sculptures, none of them signed. Have you seen in Hampi? If you go there, we find so many sculptures, like amazing sculptures. We'll be like, wow, what is this Hoysala sculpture? How could it be like this? And then nowhere is the artist's name ever mentioned. So we do magnificent things and we don't care who gets the credit. And I really don't care if I get the credit or not. Somebody said that you can do amazing things if you don't care who gets the credit. And I think it's really important to do amazing things rather than get credit for it. What you'll do with it. Anyway, people are telling me I should build a brand. I'm like, calm down, man.
But you should.
Arre, the flower doesn't make a brand, okay? The bee comes anyway. I don't have difficulty getting students because they know where the fragrance is. Only the bees come. I want the bees. I want the real hungry future yogis. That's the ones I want. That's the ones I take. I give everyone a discipline test. If they can't pass the discipline test, I tell them to get lost, even if they're ready to pay the fees. But if people are like, where can I pay the fees? I'm like, no, 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 no. First, let's do a nice discipline test for 1 week and see if you pass. Sleep on time now.
Hmm.
Put your device away at 7:30 and sleep on time. You know, and that's about it. If you can't do that much more, you'll be surprised the number of people who can't do this. They just can't. They're like, I failed at it. I failed at it again. I failed at it again. I'm like, okay, don't come.
No, but then this is the most basic things are the most difficult. Like I see so many people going on and off even alcohol and cigarettes, and as if it's like a big thing, as if it's like climbing Mount Everest. So I think the basic things are the most difficult.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. And I expect people not to take psychedelics or drugs or alcohol or any of that stuff because I want them to have their senses with them. And people are busy taking all sorts of uh, drugs and stimulants, coffee and tea, and I expect people to get off all the shit and run on your own energy. But how will I have energy if I don't drink tea? I'm like, with yoga, what else?
Ashwin, we have sort of covered all of the questions because you gave such a huge explanation and it kind of cleared all the doubts that I had. So we can open the platform for questions from the audience. If someone
Sure.
wants to ask questions,
If
please do.
anybody has a question, just type it in the chat box and I can see it here on my screen. So if you have any questions for me, go right ahead. I hope this talk inspired you to study more about yoga, to understand that it's a very simple system which can be explained in 5 minutes. It's not that complicated, you know. Yeah, can't see any comments so far, except someone saying Mangal bees to you.
What?
Karan
I
Dalwani
can't.
says Mangal bees.
Okay.
Okay, whatever that means.
Questions, people?
Questions? Anybody got questions? There are quite a few people watching, so I hope you have some
I think
questions for me.
everyone is in awe
France.
of the topic. That they have no questions. They are mesmerized.
Okay, that's the wave. That's the energy, guys. You just like soak it in, and that's real yoga for you. Okay, then we can call it a day. I don't see any questions. I thought you'll at least have comments. Yeah, Karan is saying a lot to process, no questions. Anshuja is saying, how and where can we start learning Sanskrit? There are so many online resources. Just do a Google search and you can start learning. Yeah, don't worry about it. Aparna is asking, is it possible to get a good guide on the rituals? I don't know because I don't really believe in any rituals. But all the rituals, let me tell you, in the Vedas are based on the five bhutas, the Mahabhutas, okay, the five great spirits. So it's really pretty simple to understand. So she's saying like simple ones like Surya Puja and Tulsi Puja and all that. So any puja, all you need to do is, surrender your ego and allow the spirit of that, whatever you're worshipping, to touch you. And that's about it. You don't need any rituals. You think you think by saying 20 mantras you're going to create something? Not really. If the mantra is not given to you by a guru, it doesn't even work. So I gave my students mantras. One of them said, "Okay, it's Navratri, so I'm going to chant the mantra 1,008 times." So he sat and he chanted the mantra 1,008 times, and I've told him to chant it 9 times. Yeah, people don't understand. When I say nine, it means nine. Do it 9 times. He did it 1,008 times. He's still having diarrhea.
Oh my
He's not
God.
cured. And I haven't helped him because he's created a major detox inside himself. And I'm like, go for it. Like, I'm like leaving him alone. Let him recover. So you need to follow what the guru tells you exactly. When the guru tells you something, it has power. So you do the power thing exactly that much, and it works. Okay. So once in a few months, I get the mood to teach some real tantra related to Sri Vidya, and it's called Kamakala. I just concluded a Navratri sadhana, which was pretty fantastic. Happened, and we finished on Navami, and this was for self transformation. And that's not at all ritualistic. Yes, we do put our finger into the water and we evoke the elements and we charge up the water because water can hold information. Water is a quantum substance, it's a quantum molecule. The oxygen bond with the two hydrogen, it goes on altering and about 2 million times per second. It bonds with this hydrogen, then that hydrogen, this hydrogen, that hydrogen. So that's 2 million bits in every molecule of water. So there's so many bits of information, and water can hold that. And that's what homeopathy is based on. The whole science of homeopathy is based on this actual science, which is starting to discover now. And we've known it from a long time. Right? We've been using water as teeth for a long time now. So uh, I only use you. All rituals involve water, fire, earth, wind, and space.
Yes.
Yeah. So these are the five elements. Each of them has a representation. For example, space is represented by flowers because we can't really capture space. So every time you offer flowers to a god, you are creating an atmosphere. So please put flowers on the tulsi, and please light a lamp because that creates fire. And please offer some water. And then, for earth, you can offer some sandalwood. Keep it simple, all right? And for what else? What's left? For wind, I have a peacock feather fan and I fan the deity. That's about it. Just use the five elements. And the mantras are also space elements. So if you've been given a mantra by Guru, then you chant the mantra, and then that creates another vibration. It changes the energy there. Okay, and chant it only the number of times that the Guru has asked you to do. Don't do your own practice.
Else you'll
Okay.
get diarrhea.
Yeah, or what else? Who knows what you'll get? Okay. So before a bath, I write on the water bucket 9 times. It depends on what you write. Okay. So when I have a bath, I just shake my hand in the water and I say Om Namah Shivaya 5 times. And that's enough because it's charged that water. And then when I have a bath with that water, it's going to send the same vibration into my body as well. So it's just Panch Bhut. If you know how to work with the five elements, you can achieve anything. Yeah. So there's one guru who's only teaching Panch Bhut sadhana, and I think he's a very sensible teacher. And some of his students have achieved some amazing things in this world, right? That probably all his students are going to get Padma awards soon. So yeah, this is what we need to understand. We need to feel this. We need to start getting aware of the five bhuts and the sixth bhut, which is our mind. If you're able to control the mind, then we control everything in our life. That's it. Okay. Thanks for the questions.
Before
Yeah.
we close, can we do a like small 5-10 minute meditation or something? Like I
Yeah.
always
Yeah.
like to do it.
Let's do. Okay. So, like, since we're talking about the five elements, I want you to notice that you have 5 fingers. Most of us do. Okay. And this represents the fire element, your thumb. Okay. All I want you to do is pull your thumb. Pull your thumb because fire needs to be covered, right? Hold it. Just start. Let's start with the fire element. Keep your body straight and try to remember the alignment I told you about, ear over shoulder, shoulder over hip. Okay. And just pull it sideways. Breathe out. You'll feel your body starting to get hot. Okay. And then take this and pull it. While you pull it, use the mantra of the fire. It's called Ram in your mind. Ram, 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 and then take your chitta and feel the effect of it, and see how much heat has increased in you and around you just because of the fire. I already started sweating. Okay, so that's the fire element. The more we clear the pathways, the pitta, which is part of the fire element, a part of pitta is the fire element, the pitta starts to get distributed among the body. Okay, so that's the first step. Now, second step, I just want you to point your finger. Touch these three fingers together and put this one straight up. Okay, yeah, this is called various mudras depending on how it's pointing. Yeah, Bhayanaka mudra when you point it at someone. But we don't do that. So just all I want you to do is take this, yeah, take your fingers and then stretch it. Stretch it out without bending. I'm just bending to show you that
Okay.
you okay, stretch it out. Stretch it out. Stretch it out to your right, stretch it out to your left. This will start to release knots in your shoulders, and then it will start releasing knots in your spine. It'll start releasing knots wherever there is no space in your body. It'll start making space. Whichever place is compressed, Go ahead and then breathe in. Breathe in, and the mantra is hum in your mind. Hum, 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 hum. Keep pointing your fingers. Okay? Great. The next one is a little rude, but I'll show you like this. Okay? You put your four fingers together, and the middle finger is straight up. This is the Vayu finger. Okay, we're going to do the same stretch, and the mantra is Yam. And what will happen? Pay attention to the taste in your mouth as you do this. Okay, if you do it right and you say Yum, 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 you'll start getting a sweet taste in your mouth. And then you started taking control of the Vayus. Then your breath will become stable as you do this. Stretch out, yum, yum. It will affect on your chest and your heart, and it will make your blood pressure stabilized. It will make your breath stable. Okay, and then your mind will start getting stable right away as soon as this happens. Okay, that's why maybe showing people the finger makes your mind calmer. Okay, now the ring finger, which is representing water, but water is not a straight line. You have to rotate it. Rotate it on both sides. And the mantra is Vam, right? I'm just rotating it like this on my sides. So I'm going Vam, Vam,
All
Vam,
circles.
Vam. Yeah, just circles, small circles like this, but on your sides. So, it's by my side. I don't know if you can see it. Yeah, here you go.
Yeah.
I'm just doing these small circles. By my sides, why? At the level of my kidneys and the bladder, which is the seat of water, right? So I'm just doing this. This kind of clears out. It's very useful for UTI infections and things like that. And the mantra Vam also kind of uh, changes the structure of the water inside you. You're 70% water, 65 to 70% water. So you can change the structure. Even the earth is 73% water. So there's water in the air everywhere. There's water vapor in the air. Okay, great. So after you do that, then you have the little finger, which represents earth. And for earth, you got to go in little squares. So just draw, okay, squares, and say lum, 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 lum. What this does is it takes the kapha in your body and distributes it everywhere so that you become evenly strong. Fascia will even out everywhere in your body, and all the pressures and aches and pains, and it's really good for arthritis. So this is one more practice. If you just work with the five elements and start understanding them, I'm still sweating from the first one, pulling the thumbs. Okay. Once you do this five element practice, your mind also will become calm, and you'll start really understanding the spirit behind creation. This is what spirituality is. If you understand the spirit world, okay, so that's what it is. Shailesh has a question. Says how to identify the true practitioner. Oops, where does it go? Here, yeah. How to identify the true practitioner of yoga? If you want to identify a true practitioner of yoga, watch their mind. It'll be calm. They'll have the same stable mind all the time. And even if they're yelling at you, they'll be calm. Because
How
sometimes
to
to get
find
work
out?
done, to get work done, sometimes even I got to yell at people. No, my carpenters especially, they do such a bad job sometimes. So I get a lot of wood stuff done. So then I'm not yelling at them, but I'm telling them, I'm slapping them, that you really need to do this properly. And then there'll be some colorful words and whatever. But at the end of it, I'm calm. My heart rate, if you check my heart rate at that time, will be normal. Okay. So you can check the heart rate of a yogi. He will not have blood pressure. He will not have diseases of any kind. No diseases. and will be relaxed. You can disagree with the yogi and he'll still be chilled out. There's no problem with you. Okay. So, but then of course, if you're being a pest, then the yogi will move on from you. Zzz. The true yogi will not even stay there and sit, and if he finds that you can't put any sense into you, he'll be gone. Some of the signs of a yogi. I hope it's useful.
Yes.
And yeah, Aparna is saying thanks. Okay, great. That's about it. I don't think we have any more questions. I hope you enjoyed the practice, guys. Let me know how what was your experience in the comments. I'll read them later. But yeah, for now we're good. How do you feel?
I feel excellent. I feel excellent.
Great.
I feel like the entire when we did that practice, I felt like you said that you will get an alignment, but I feel like like my trunk has opened up. Like there is more space creation in the trunk.
Yeah,
Like
yeah.
before the practice, I couldn't really say that it was compressed, but after the practice, I felt like an opening in this part of my body. So I feel
Yes,
very good.
yes. It changes people's voice as well, It's like if you just persist and practice this 5-10 minutes, you- you'll you'll feel like a different person. You'll be a better version of yourself. Like I said, right now we are creating our versions. We create the best version of ourselves. Yeah, that's what it is. Think of any occasion where you need to have the best version of yourself. Do this practice before, and you'll go there at the best version of yourself.
I will.
Yes.
Before our live, I will. Surely will.
Yeah. 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 Great. Samir is saying, thank you for sharing deep knowledge. It was a powerful session. Thanks, Samir. Okay. So, shall we call it a day?
Yes. Thank you so much for sharing
All
the
right.
insight.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you for
Hope to see you
inviting me.
in the next live soon.
Beg your pardon?
Hope to see you in the next live very soon.
Oh,
When I
yeah.
come.
Sure. Sure. Whenever you want. All right. See you.
Thank you. Bye.
Bye. Bye.